Hey so this is going to be a review of the new Jurassic World film called Dominion. So this is kind of divided not divided, some people it has. I've not seen the original Jurassic Parks anymore, so I can't anymore in ages, so I can't really compare the last three, because if you've seen the originals, from what I remember anyway, the last one from the original Jurassic Park was kind of a bit of a flop, but apparently people preferred that one to this one. So this one does have its problems, or one problem in particular. So first off, so the premises of this one is, obviously this is a little bit of a spoiler from the, if you've not seen the second one, but if you remember all the first one, so if you remember the first one, it was like a theme park, everything went to shit, everyone just fucked off this island. The second one, there's dinosaurs on this island, still left on this island. There's a volcano about to erupt. Okay, the third one now is, which is this one, is that now we're trying to kind of go and live with them at this point, which I heard one review and they sounded a bit disappointed about that, because it's kind of, you do still see people like running after dinosaurs and stuff. We'll get into that one in a minute, but it's more, how would I describe it? So I'd describe this film, first off, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this one for kids, just because kids might find it a bit more boring. It's more like a Jurassic Park for like adults, if that makes any sense. So as I said, they learn to sort of somewhat live with them. They're still like dinosaur attacks, like a bit like bear attacks and stuff like that. So this follows two plots. Now this is where it kind of goes a little bit. I don't think they did this very well. So you've got, if you didn't know, you've got the original. So you've got Alan Grant and Ellie back in this film, well, in the Jurassic World kind of situation. So with their deal, without giving too much away, they get invited to this place called by Ian, where they sort of I can't remember what the place is called, but they kind of somewhat like look at like genetic possibilities and stuff when it comes to like dinosaurs and stuff like that. But it turns out it's something even shadier, which I will get into one of the guy who owns it, because I think they did something on purpose with him in a minute. So you've got that going on, and then you've got the story going on with Owen, Claire, and Maisie. Now, I didn't really care for Alan and Ellie. That could have been cut a lot, if I'm being honest with you. I just didn't really care. I just cared more about Owen and Claire and Maisie's story, just because we know them from the first and second. I just felt that it made it drag a bit, and the way they kind of went back and forth, it wasn't really that smooth or anything. It didn't blend really well together. So I only enjoyed the film a lot. I thought the film was a lot better when they were started to all sort of end up colliding together. So at the start, they all got their separate like missions and stuff, and then in the end, they all end up together. That's the bit which I kind of prefer. As I said, they went back and forth. I don't think they did that very well. Now, the thing that I wanted to talk about is the guy that owns the place, because he gave Steve Jobs vibes, so much Steve Jobs vibes. I even said it to my mum, because I went to see this with my mum. I said, this guy reminds me of Steve Jobs, do you not think so? And she was like, yeah. So I don't know if they did that on purpose, because, I don't know if they're trying to hint Steve Jobs, a lot of money, and Apple was a lunatic. I don't know. That's what they were kind of going for. but it was so much vibes of Steve Jobs. It was unbelievable. So, how would I rate this movie? So, if I was to give this movie out of 10, I'd give it like a 5. It is kind of average. I think it would have been better if it was a shorter, and the two like stories would blend in together very well, or at least the one with Alan was a little bit more interesting. I didn't really care for it, especially they could have cut it to the point where they were at the facility, and you know what I mean. Then yeah, fine, whatever. But it just kind of their story kind of dragged, and I wasn't really that interested in it. And as I said, they didn't really blend the two together, and the film was so much better, which was at this point halfway through when they ended up starting to kind of bump into each other and be like, oh okay, but yeah, and as I said, it's not necessarily kids. I mean, it's a 12A, but I'm just saying, like, if you bring your kids that are like 10 and under 12, they may find it a bit boring. But yeah, that is basically it for this review.